I feel really good. We had a cabinet meeting this morning, and I was surprised. Spirits are really good, and people I think are very proud of what we've accomplished, and we got a lot more work in the next 14 months, so we're not going to be slowing down.
Mayor, looking back, is there anything you could say you would have done differently, and what do you see as the biggest challenges of the next 13 months?
I don't have anything in particular, but we have to establish a working relationship with the Trump administration if that's possible. The last time I had a working relationship with Ben Carson and got some stuff done on HUD. I had a working relationship with Matthew Snyder, the U.S. Attorney, who helped get the violence down. And so right now, we have to go from having somebody who's a close personal friend of the White House to somebody who says he's going to be a friend. So let's see.
What specifically would you like the Trump administration to do for the city?
I'm going to wait and see, what their priorities are. But certainly help on the federal law enforcement side. Dawn Ison's been great, but more resources on the federal side, on the gangs, in the violence. The Detroit Police Department would love. And affordable housing is going to be an issue for every mayor in the country, and I know the whole mayor's conference is going to be pitching that, and we'll see what the receptivity is.
What does the phone call with the Trump administration start off like?
First I have to find out who to talk to, so I won't be able to get the president on the phone anymore, so we'll see how that goes.
Any teases about your future?
Yeah, it'd be a few weeks. This is about the city of Detroit. And,
Mayor, how do we get young people back to Detroit?
That to me is the challenge. Back to Detroit and back to Michigan. We're losing more young people in our state than any other state. But you're seeing what we're doing. Dan Gilbert and I 2 weeks ago were out in Silicon Valley pitching startups nationally. I was there 2 weeks before that. The announcement on cryptocurrency was not something we hadn't thought through. The jobs of the future have to be located here. Detroit was built because the greatest innovative minds in the world were here in the first half of the 20th century building the automobile. Right now, those minds are in Silicon Valley, they're in Seattle, they may be in Miami. We need to get our share in Detroit, and the new University of Michigan grad school with its AI center is going to be a huge help. But we're going to need places in the Midwest where the technology of the future are invented and developed. And I don't think Detroit's going to compete with Silicon Valley. We should be able to compete with Chicago and Columbus. That's what we're going to try and do.
We're getting the jobs. Do we have the housing now?
I'll take you out to San Francisco or even take you to Traverse City with the 10 cities. The $1 billion in affordable housing has put us in a very good situation compared to other cities housing-wise. Arthur Jemis, you ought to talk to him. He has freed up 500 affordable units in the 6 months or so he's been at the Housing Commission. But we will stay ahead of the curve on building the housing.
What are the qualities Detroit's next mayor will have to bring to the table and that you want to see?
I think there are two things. One is no us versus them politics. You have to unite people. I think that's going to be a given. I don't think you could be elected mayor today running the old us versus them campaign. Second, you got to have the courage to say to people what you can't do. Because Detroit got into bankruptcy because we had years of mayors and councils who, when people came in and protested, went ahead and spent money they didn't have. And they did it year after year until the city's in bankruptcy and retirees lose their pensions. You need a candidate who will say to you, this is what we can't afford to do, here's what we can do. And I'm going to be looking for who's got the courage to tell Detroiters the truth, and I think the people of Detroit will naturally follow that candidate, and hopefully there'll be several of them.
Mayor Duggan, you mentioned that there's a lot of leadership talent here in Detroit that you've worked with as well. Does anyone come to mind that could take this role over?
I think you're going to see 4 or 5 outstanding candidates in the race, and I'm going to wait and see. I don't think all the names have surfaced yet, but you have a lot of talent. And,
you're going to make an endorsement at any point?
For right now, I'm going to be like all the other Detroiters and decide who I'm going to vote for. And then maybe next year if I feel strongly enough. But I don't intend to be engaged in the next few months. I've told my staff we need to let the candidates get out there, get established, get their message out, and we'll make a judgment from there. My guess is my feeling will end up being the same as most Detroiters.
Mayor, are you encouraging anyone right now to consider voting for mayor?
I want the candidates? No, I'm not. I'm not engaged in encouraging people to run or not to run. I think everybody knows my feeling is James White is one of the great leaders I've ever met in my life. And he has decided that taking on the challenge of the mental health system is his life's dream. But we have a lot of other really talented people. But I'm not encouraging anybody. I'm not discouraging anybody. I'm going to be like everybody else. I'm going to listen carefully and judge folks on the way they run their campaigns.
Thank you.
All right?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
What's your top priority for these next 13 months of government?
We are every day right now attracting the jobs from the startups, the tech firms, and the like. Whether we want to face it or not, artificial intelligence is going to change almost every job, including a number of your jobs. And there are going to be areas of the country that are hurt by that, and there are going to be areas of the country that embrace it and benefit from it. And Hassan Beydoun and our whole economic development team is focused on, we've done a great job getting the manufacturing jobs back here, but we are still losing way too much of our young talent. And when I sit with the top kids out of Detroit high schools and say, where are you going to be in 10 years? And they're thinking they're going to be in Atlanta or they're going to be in Los Angeles. I want them saying, I want to be here in Detroit. That's what we're going to work on.